let's talk about shame. So, when you're a creative spirit, which I know that you are, there's probably a blob and a half of shame that would stand in your way. It absolutely is for me, which is why I am under this white lilac bush. Is that even a thing? And it's also crisscrossed with a holly bush. And I'm just here, safe in my little corner, so that no one will see me filming myself, which, I have opinions about that. Like people who film themselves, little self involved maybe. There's some shame operating. Anyway, so I want to explore this because I want a healthier relationship with this emotion because it's real. It totally stops me in my tracks. I do see myself as someone who loves to think creatively and do creative things like making a video like this. And yet there's just like a gajillion things that get in the way. And the biggest one is shame. So this morning, for example, let me just share with you what I did to avoid making this video. One is I actually took a couple other short videos, and posted them. I paid a bill. I made a phone call that was pretty low priority. I sent some emails. I set up some automation. I created some thumbnails for those videos. I could just go on, right? Wow, my life is very organized and neat. Isn't that lovely? And also that was me avoiding because of shame. Because I just didn't want to make this video. Like, who wants to talk about shame? Anyway, so I wanted to share with you that I want to figure out a way to be in right relationship with this emotion, because mastering that means a certain kind of freedom that I think is really important, right? If I didn't feel this kind of shame, what would that look like? What kind of creative stuff would I get up to, right? Like, how much fun could I have with my life? What would I want to express? I don't know the answer to that because I'm so stymied and debilitated by shame. So this week I'm going to be exploring different ways to basically approach shame and come at it, like move towards it and see what happens. So today, first I want to share with you, in the protection of this particular bush, a way that it did not work out for me and why this matters so much. So a few years ago, I was part of a spiritual community in Berkeley, California. It was wonderful. And I had spent a lot of time finding peace, inner peace, through meditation tools. But at some point, I got to be a quote unquote leader in the community. And my version of that was being a choir director, right? There was like a church aspect. And every other Sunday, I led a very impromptu, fun little choir. We sang silly little songs that were really fun. And I actually get to write some songs for this group, which was super fun too. And play piano, which I never do in public. So it just helped me discover what it's like to be a spiritual leader of sorts. How do I manage that? And how is it to perform in public on a regular basis too? That helped with that. And then at some point I realized, hey, I'm done. I have learned what I need to learn. This was a good run and it's time to move on. But did I move on? No. I looked around and I'm like, who else would do this job? I'm obligated. I need to stay here. I'm an upstanding, reliable individual. There's no way I could quit. And then I just stayed there for months. It might have even been over a year. Like, when I think back, I could have been almost 2 years. And so you can imagine that, like, when you're feeling done with something, how much inspiration there is to bring to that thing. Not that much. And there were moments where I was just resentful. I didn't want to be spending my time this way. Like, I just didn't have a lot of juice for it. All right. Who can't relate to that? So when I finally sat down with the bishop of the church and said, okay, so thank you, but I'm done. I mean, literally, I wasn't even being paid for this. So I said I was done. And she just looked at me like, thank you. We wish you well. Like, it's been great having you. And that was it. That was it. There was no browbeating. There was no, like, you owe us. I even think she might have said, I was waiting. I was wondering how long it would be for you to come in here and talk to me. Because, I mean, I was in a very astute, aware community. They knew what's up. We all know what's happening. So if somebody's checked out, like it's obvious. So, and that was that. And I just moved on with my life. And I realized, like, there has to be a better way to do this. Like, why did I wait that long? Silly. So this week I'll be exploring other endings that went way better. And I'll probably come out of the protection of this bush, or these two bushes, and see if I can film it in ways that feel embarrassing and bring up shame for me while I'm talking about shame. Yeah, stay tuned. More soon. Let's figure out a way to be in right relationship with this emotion, because it's here, it's part of our lives. Yes, I don't want to have it govern my life, but I think addressing it head on is the way through.